What if the movies you thought were failures were actually masterpieces hiding in plain sight? These 90s films, once written off, are now regarded as untold legends. How did The Shawshank Redemption fall flat, only to become one of the greatest films of all time? The truth is shocking, and these forgotten flops carry secrets that demand attention. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll never look at these films the same way again. The Iron Giant, 1999. Imagine a robot built for destruction choosing instead to be a hero. The Iron Giant, despite its heartwarming story and groundbreaking animation, flopped at the box office, earning only $31.3 million worldwide. Released by Warner Brothers in 1999, it was marketed poorly and overshadowed by bigger, flashier films. Yet, as time passed, the film found its audience through home video and word of mouth. With Brad Bird's direction, the film is an emotional roller coaster that deals with identity, sacrifice, and the power of choice. Its beautiful animation and the touching relationship between Hogarth and the giant elevated it to a level few animated films of that era reached. Now, The Iron Giant is regarded as one of the finest animated films of all time, proving that sometimes the most profound messages come from the most unexpected places. Fight Club, 1999. What if the film that was branded as a violent, confusing mess was actually a razor-sharp critique of society? Fight Club debuted in 1999 with a mixed reception, grossing only $100.9 million against its $63 million budget. Its subversive take on masculinity, consumerism, and mental health initially left audiences alienated, especially due to its jarring narrative and brutal violence. But over time, David Fincher's masterpiece became a cult sensation. Its philosophical themes, iconic imagery, and twist ending are now celebrated by generations of fans. What was once misunderstood as an explosion of chaos became a cultural commentary on the emptiness of modern life. Fight Club is the perfect example of a film that requires a second viewing to truly appreciate, where every line, every moment, builds a bigger truth about our fractured existence. It's not just a film about fighting, it's about the fight within us all. The Big Lebowski, 1998. It's hard to believe that The Big Lebowski, now a cornerstone of pop culture, was once just another weird comedy. Released in 1998, the film grossed only $47.5 million worldwide, far from the blockbuster success it deserved. The Coen brothers' bizarre mix of noir, comedy, and absurdism, led by Jeff Bridges' unforgettable portrayal of the Dude, initially confused audiences. The film's unconventional narrative and offbeat humor didn't fit the mold of mainstream expectations, but that's exactly what made it unique. Over the years, however, something incredible happened. The Big Lebowski found its cult audience. What was once a box office misstep turned into a beloved classic, known for its strange but insightful commentary on identity, fate, and friendship. The film's offbeat characters, from John Turturro's Jesus to the philosophical, laid-back Dude, have become icons in their own right, and lines like, "The Dude abides," are now part of the American lexicon. In the end, The Big Lebowski proved that sometimes the most memorable films are the ones that don't fit the mold, and its success is a testament to the power of quirky, original storytelling. Donnie Brasco, 1997. Donnie Brasco didn't just slip through the cracks, it got overshadowed by its more famous mafia counterparts. Released in 1997, the film grossed a respectable $124 million, but it was still a far cry from the box office highs of Goodfellas or The Godfather. Directed by Mike Newell, it stars Johnny Depp as an undercover FBI agent who infiltrates the mafia, with Al Pacino playing his mentor in the criminal world. While it didn't receive the same fanfare as other mob films, Donnie Brasco is a more emotionally complex and subtly powerful drama. The tension of Depp's character balancing his real identity with his undercover role brings a level of human vulnerability rarely seen in traditional mob films. The film explores loyalty, betrayal, and the emotional cost of leading a double life, all while providing a gritty, authentic portrayal of life within the mafia. Over time, audiences and critics have come to appreciate the film's understated depth, with standout performances from Depp and Pacino that make this film a must-watch for any lover of crime dramas. Donnie Brasco is not just about the mafia, it's about the people who get lost in its web. The Crow, 1994. What could have been just another revenge flick became a gothic masterpiece, thanks to tragedy both on and off the screen. Released in 1994, The Crow was a modest financial success, earning just $50 million worldwide against its $23 million budget, but its dark, atmospheric storytelling left a lasting impression on audiences. The film starred Brandon Lee, who tragically died during filming, adding a haunting layer to an already emotionally charged narrative. The film follows Eric Draven, a man brought back to life by a supernatural crow to exact vengeance on those who wronged him. Its gothic style, coupled with a killer soundtrack, sets it apart from other superhero films of its time. The visual richness, combined with its melancholic, poetic tone, gives it a timeless quality that has only grown in stature over the years. What was initially seen as an edgy cult film quickly became an icon in its own right. Today, The Crow is a staple of the superhero genre and a tragic but beautiful piece of cinema, made all the more powerful by the loss of its leading man. It's a story about love, loss, and redemption that continues to resonate with audiences around the world. Showgirls, 1995. At first glance, Showgirls seems like an exploitation film, a flashy spectacle about the seedy world of Las Vegas strip clubs. But look closer, and you'll find a camp masterpiece that intentionally pushes the limits of absurdity. Released in 1995, the film was panned by critics and bombed at the box office, grossing just $20.3 million against its $45 million budget. Directed by Paul Verhoeven, Showgirls was an over-the-top drama that earned a reputation for its absurd performances, melodramatic dialogue, and eroticism. At the time, it was dismissed as a vulgar, guilty pleasure with little redeeming value. However, the years have been kind to Showgirls. It has since been reappraised as a so-bad-it's-good film, celebrated for its unintentional camp and satirical take on ambition, power, and exploitation in the entertainment industry. The film's hyperbole, from Elizabeth Berkley's wild performance to its ridiculously theatrical scenes, now feels like a deliberate commentary on the excesses of Hollywood. Midnight screenings and cult followings have turned Showgirls into an icon of guilty pleasure cinema. What was once considered a failed attempt at creating a serious drama is now viewed as a bold satire of its own genre. It may not have been the hit it was meant to be, but over time, Showgirls has proven that sometimes the most memorable films are the ones that dare to be completely ridiculous. Event Horizon, 1997. Event Horizon is the film that couldn't quite find its audience in theaters, but has since become a cornerstone of sci-fi horror. Released in 1997, it made only $26.7 million against its $60 million budget, making it a box office disaster. The film, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, follows a rescue crew investigating a spaceship that vanished into a black hole and has returned with something terrifying aboard. Despite its initial poor reception, Event Horizon gained a strong following through home video and late-night screenings. The film's chilling atmosphere, unsettling visuals, and psychological horror make it a standout in the genre. What sets it apart is its fusion of cosmic horror and body horror, creating an experience that is both terrifying and profoundly unsettling. The film's descent into madness, as the crew members are tormented by nightmarish visions, taps into the deepest fears of the unknown. While it was marketed as a straight-up sci-fi thriller, Event Horizon is far more than that. It's a meditation on hell and the horrors that await beyond the boundaries of the known universe. Its grotesque imagery and unrelenting tension have earned it a place in the hearts of horror and sci-fi fans alike. Over time, Event Horizon has been recognized as a chilling, underrated gem that gets under your skin and stays there long after the credits roll. The Hudsucker Proxy, 1994. The Coen Brothers. The Hudsucker Proxy is one of those films that defied its time, only to find its place in cinema history years later. Released in 1994, it was a financial disappointment, grossing just $11 million against a $25 million budget. The film was too quirky, too fast-paced, and too visually extravagant for mainstream audiences. But over time, its bold style and satirical take on the American dream began to resonate. The Hudsucker Proxy, starring Tim Robbins and Jennifer Jason Leigh, is a dazzling homage to the screwball comedies of the 1930s, infused with the Coen brothers' signature blend of absurdity and social commentary. The story of a naive man who rises to power in a corrupt corporation feels like a parody of corporate greed and ambition, but it's also an exploration of the underdog's ability to thrive in a world that seems stacked against them. The film's visual style is a feast for the eyes, with its vivid colors and surreal sets designed to resemble a pop art dreamscape. At its core, The Hudsucker Proxy is a film about ambition, manipulation, and the American obsession with success, all wrapped in a larger-than-life comedic package. While it didn't find its audience upon release, the film has since gained a cult following, with fans appreciating its audacity, its visual flair, and its timeless critique of corporate culture. The Hudsucker Proxy may have been ahead of its time, but its charm, wit, and heart have made it a beloved classic. Strange Days, 1995. Strange Days is a hauntingly prescient vision of the future, one that arrived too early for its time. Released in 1995, Kathryn Bigelow's cyberpunk thriller struggled at the box office, grossing just $17 million against its $42 million budget. The film, starring Ralph Fiennes and Angela Bassett, explores a dark, dystopian future where people can relive the memories of others through a device that records sensory experiences. Set in the days leading up to the turn of the millennium, it tackles issues of voyeurism, police brutality, racial tensions, and the human thirst for power, all set against a neon-lit, chaotic backdrop. The film's innovative premise, combined with its gritty, unflinching portrayal of a fractured society, was far ahead of its time. Strange Days was too intense and too politically charged for mainstream audiences, but in today's world, it feels eerily relevant. Its exploration of technology, privacy, and the exploitation of trauma resonates in the age of social media, surveillance, and growing racial divides. The performances, particularly Bassett's fierce portrayal of Lornetta, give the film an emotional depth that's rare in sci-fi thrillers. Over time, Strange Days has found a loyal following for its unflinching exploration of a broken world, making it a cult classic with a level of prescience that only grows more haunting as the years go on. It's a film that warns of the future, while subtly critiquing the world of today. Dark City, 1998. Dark City is one of the most brilliantly overlooked sci-fi films of the 90s, a film that slipped through the cracks but left a lasting impression on those who discovered it. Released in 1998, it grossed only $27 million against its $27 million budget, failing to make the impact it deserved in theaters. Directed by Alex Proyas, this neo-noir masterpiece tells the story of a man, Rufus Sewell, who wakes up with no memory in a city controlled by mysterious beings known as the Strangers, who manipulate the city's inhabitants and their memories. The film's dark, claustrophobic atmosphere is paired with mind-bending visuals and a narrative that constantly twists and turns, leaving the viewer questioning what's real and what's not. At the time of its release, Dark City was overshadowed by the commercial success of The Matrix, which explored similar themes of reality and illusion. However, in retrospect, Dark City stands as a more philosophical and stylistically unique exploration of memory, identity, and the human struggle for freedom. Its striking art direction, blending noir and sci-fi aesthetics, gives it a timeless quality. Dark City's influence can be seen in countless films and television shows that followed, and it remains a cult classic for those who appreciate complex, cerebral sci-fi. The film's box office failure doesn't diminish its importance. Rather, it solidifies Dark City as a hidden gem, a film ahead of its time, waiting to be rediscovered by new generations. These 90s box office flops didn't just fade into obscurity. They became cultural touchstones, defying expectations and earning legendary status. What was once overlooked is now unforgettable. If you missed these gems when they first hit theaters, now's your chance to see why they've earned a second life. Don't let these masterpieces stay hidden any longer.